invaded Konoha, a lot of people are disappointed that Might Guy and his team hadn't been in the Hidden Leaf Village during Pain's invasion. This is even more true if you only watched the anime and you saw the opening for the arc that showed all of the Konoha 11 fighting against Pain and Konan. So what would have happened if Team Guy had been in the Hidden Leaf Village during Pain's invasion? How would the Naruto story change? Would it be for better? Would it be for worse? Or would things not change much at all? Without waiting, guys, let's get right into this. Now, obviously, in order for this to happen, Team Guy would need to not be sent on their mission, which removed them from the Hidden Leaf Village during Pain's invasion. Now, we don't know the specifics for the mission or if Team Guy specifically requested for it, which is why in this scenario, Tsunade would assign another team to take on the job. The first major change that would occur would be during Kakashi's battle with the Deva Path. As we all know, Kakashi quickly saw through Nagato's tactics, which was to create a diversion team and a hunt team. I believe that Guy would have been fighting alongside Kakashi, given their strong chemistry, and the fact that Guy would likely use this as an opportunity to compete with Kakashi again like he did during the Konoha Crush arc. Originally, when Kakashi fought the Deva Path, he was quickly boxed in when a second path showed up to assist him. Enough so that he openly wondered how Jiraiya was able to take on all 6 paths of pain at once. However, if Guy had been fighting alongside him, I don't see Kakashi losing his cool, as he briefly did during this fight. I believe that after fighting the 2 paths of pain, Guy likely would have opened up the 6th gate, as he did during his second fight with Kisame during the Kazekaze rescue mission. It's worth noting that the Deva Path would likely repel Guy's taijutsu attacks, but given Guy's insane reaction speed and the fact that Kakashi was there fighting alongside him, as well as Choji and his father, I have to believe that someone would have managed to get a good hit on the Deva Path. In the manga, Kakashi quickly figured out Deva Path's 5-second interval and nearly succeeded in destroying him, but arrived a second too late with his lightning blade and ended up destroying the second path of pain instead. I believe that if this scenario were to unfold again, with Choji and his father assisting as they did originally, that Guy would have been able to speed blitz the Deva Path and destroy him, especially if Guy is in his 6th gate. With the Deva Path taken care of, I don't see Kakashi being caught off guard, which means that he wouldn't have got killed like he did in the original story. Meanwhile, I don't see the other members of Team Guy not helping to fight off the other 4 pains, though a very strong argument can be made that they would have been helping get the villagers to safety. This isn't impossible when you think about it, since we do have to remember that Pain's invasion caught everyone off guard, and protecting the villagers was a huge priority, if not the priority for the Hidden Leaf Ninja. It's for this reason I don't think the Team Guy would have been directly engaging, unless it was absolutely required, because fighting would likely endanger any of the villagers who were still being evacuated. Assuming that at some point that there was a fight and that Neji, Lee, Tenten were all together, it could get interesting if this happened. Out of all 4 of the remaining paths, I believe that running into the animal path would have been the worst matchup for these 3. As we all know, the human path is able to read minds and remove the soul of a target. Given that Team Guy is a taijutsu specialist team, I do think that it's possible that the human path would be able to yank out one of their souls, which would grant it knowledge about the remaining team members' fighting styles. So realistically, even if a fight with the human path were to be hard, even with Tenten attacking from long range and Lee and Neji coordinating their taijutsu offensive, given that Team Guy does not know about the human path's powers, I can't see a situation where if this were to occur, where one of them doesn't get their soul removed. In my opinion, the person likely to be targeted would either be Lee, who can open up several of the 8 gates, or Tenten, since she would be attacking from afar. Lee's immense power would make him a logical target to take out, and Tenten attacking from afar would do also. Regardless of which falls, I don't see a scenario where the other 2 members of Team Guy are killed, either due to Neji being smart enough to retreat, or the 2 defeating the human path with extremely high difficulty. The same ultimately holds true for the duo of Guy and Kakashi, who would have matchup problems with the remaining paths of pain, though it's worth noting that Guy does have access to the 8th gate, which would come in handy if they ran into the animal path, who would likely summon the other pains to the battlefield. Assuming that this doesn't happen, I see no reason for Pain's invasion to be slowed down by the presence of Guy and his team. However, given that Nagato would have 2 of his paths of pain taken down and potentially even a third, I don't see a scenario where he doesn't have the 3 paths restored. This likely happens around the time that Pain learns that Naruto is not in the village after he takes out the soul of Tsunade. Now, this would ultimately lead to Konoha being destroyed by Deva Path, though it's worth noting that with the Deva Path defeated earlier, that Nagato likely would have had to use another Path of Pain to confront Tsunade. From here, not much changes. Naruto would still fight Pain, though he wouldn't be as angered since Kakashi isn't dead. However, it's during this portion of the fight where Pain pins down Naruto with the chakra rods that there's a strong likelihood of a change taking place. It's very likely that Neji would have been watching the fight with his Byakugan and would have seen Hinata running to help Naruto. I very strongly believe that Neji would have followed after her, even if he wasn't in her immediate vicinity. We all know from Neji's death that he wouldn't have hesitated to step in to save Hinata, and I do think that this wouldn't be any different. I foresee 3 end results occurring here. Number 1, Neji arrives shortly after Hinata and works to fight alongside her to free Naruto. Scenario 2, Neji arrives after Hinata is stabbed, but before he can act, Naruto allows the Kyuubi to take over. Scenario 3, Neji arrives alongside Hinata but is killed when Deva Path tries to kill her when she protects Naruto and ends up stabbing Neji instead of Hinata. In my opinion, Scenario 1 and Scenario 2 have an equal chance of happening. While the idea of Neji helping to fight Pain with Hinata to remove the chakra rods from Naruto is plausible and pretty cool to think about, we have to remember that Hinata would have had a head start on Neji by rushing to help Naruto. Neji is fast as hell, but in the manga, Pain takes out Hinata right after she makes her confession. The anime added a few scenes to stretch out the fight, which is a bit misleading, which would make some people think that Neji would be able to catch up. This is why I believe Scenario 2 is the most likely to happen. Neji would have arrived just after Hinata was stabbed and Naruto would have gone full berserker mode. Assuming that this is true and that in his rage that Naruto doesn't accidentally kill Neji since he would have been close by, everything would unfold exactly the same. After Naruto preaches his famous sermon to Nagato, Nagato would then go on to revive all of the fallen shinobi of Konoha, including the fallen member of Team Guy who might have died if there would have been a fight with the Animal Path. With Guy having been in the village, I believe that he and Kakashi would have gone on to retrieve Naruto, bringing him back to the village. After this, the next few changes I see occurring are very subtle but are significant enough to talk about. I believe that when the order is given to kill Sasuke because he viewed himself as a rogue ninja and because he had attacked Killer Bee as a member of the Akatsuki, that it would have at least been Neji who was visibly upset. Neji was part of the Sasuke retrieval mission, which means that Sasuke's fall from grace would have hit him just as hard as anyone, but he also just watched Pain almost kill Hinata. That being said, I don't see Neji taking further action because instead of becoming even more of a dick, I think that Neji would have been more protective of Hinata. As a benefit of this, I believe that in the time leading up to the war, Neji would have trained Hinata to become much stronger and would have worked to increase his own strength so that if Hinata was in danger again, he would be able to protect her. By the time that the war arc takes place, I can see Neji sticking more closely to Hinata. The added benefit is that there's a chance that when Zetsu begins impersonating shinobi, that Neji wouldn't be one of the people that Zetsu tries to mimic. After this, I don't see much of anything changing, which means that Neji would ultimately get killed protecting Naruto and Hinata. Madara would then go on to seal all the tailed beasts and fight Guy in the 8th gate, which would ultimately lead to Kaguya reappearing, who would then go on to be sealed by Naruto and Sasuke, who would then go on to have their final fight. Since this what if is a bit shorter than all the others, I wanted to take time out to address a huge elephant in the room. Wouldn't Guy, with all of his power, have used all 8 gates to take out all the paths of pain. After the series ended, this was something that a lot of people have brought up as a reason that Kishimoto didn't have Guy in the village during Pain's attack and arriving shortly after Naruto went on his rampage. It's definitely possible, and it's something that should be talked about. If Guy was put in position to fight all 6 paths of pain, his 8 gates would demolish Pain. However, Nagato still wouldn't be dealt with, and Guy would die a very pointless death. But hey, that's just my opinion. Feel free to disagree. That's it for this Naruto What If. Be sure to comment down below what What If you would like to see covered in the future. I'll be sure to write it down if it interests me, and I will eventually get to it in the future. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have an awesome day.